Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and welcome back to the Coffee Cast. You know what I love? I love when large tournaments release awesome map packs, not map hacks, map packs, that's hard to say, where they just feature all sorts of awesome players from their awesome tournament. And in this case, the culprit was the North American Star League, so we get to see so many awesome games. I just finished casting Idra vs Puma just a little bit ago, so you guys should definitely check that out. And in this case, we are going to have two really good Protoss players. In this case, it is going to be mouzHasuObs spawning as the blue Protoss player over here on the left side of NASL dual site, versus EGHuk spawning as the red Protoss over on the right side of dual site. These two players, I would love to say they have the same style, but really, let's be honest, in PvP, you have no idea what players are going to do. I will say that the most indicative thing is going to be what happens with these two gas geysers. I selected three. These two gas geysers are really going to show what our players will be doing in this game. One gas geyser, very indicative of a 4-gate. I mean, you can do other builds off of one gas geyser, but it's so common to get two gas geysers just so you can get the extra gas to be able to quickly get the units that you want. Protoss units obviously costing quite a bit of gas. Right now we do have both players just getting one gas. Generally will not get your second gas until after that cybernetic score has been laid down. So until then, it is going to be a shot in the dark. Anybody's guess. I'm going to guess one of these players is going to go Blink Stalker. At least one of these players is going to go Blink Stalker. The other one, some sort of robo play. There is my guess for this game, because that's just what happens in PvP. I know Zealot Sentry Immortal is actually rather popular right now, and it looks like, oh, who got that? mouzHasuObs did manage to take a second gas. Huck also taking his second gas, so we will probably not be seeing 4-gate. There are gas-heavy 4-gates, but they're not really used in PvP. And in general, the 4-gate itself is just dying out a little bit in PvP. So we will be seeing both players get their gas. Thankfully, that always makes for a more fun game to watch for us. Cybernetic scores are just now finishing up. That's when our tech is going to be laid down. Well, once again, though, I was mentioning earlier, Zealot Sentry Immortal, very popular in PvP right now, allows you to get an expand. You can either do a very risky build doing a 1-gate robo into expand, or you can do a 3-gate robo into expand. 3-gate robo obviously being a little bit safer. Both players at this point in time, pretty much the same exact build, know pretty much about it. EGHuk just a little bit ahead of mouzHasuObs in the build order, but that's not too big of a deal. I mean, we're talking minor seconds. Now, here's our first little deviation. We do have Huck laying down an additional 2 gateways, so he will be doing some sort of 3-gate play. And he does currently have his gateways rallied down to the bottom of his ramp. I don't know if that's going to mean anything at this point in time. It's a little bit too early to say that he's going to expand. A lot of the time in PvP, the first person to expand is the first person to lose. However, that doesn't always hold true, especially when you have characters of this high caliber. We do have a forward pylon being set down here in the third base of mouzHasuObs. That will not get scouted for a while, more likely than not. The stalkers just kind of poking out across the map, seeing each other, falling back. Obviously, neither player wanting to engage, and we do have mouzHasuObs' gateway count going up to 3 to match Huck's. However, Huck's are just a little bit ahead. Well, actually, but yeah, just a little bit ahead. Both warp gates going to be finishing at the same exact time. This is a stupidly even game. I mean, we're talking dead even game. Actually, Huck almost a little bit supply block, 30-34, and we're actually seeing him just right on the money with his pylon timing. That's actually kind of a thing of beauty. We do have a couple of pylons going down across the map. We do have one pylon in the main base of the mouzHasuObs. The mouzHasuObs is able to scout that. I would assume this would be cancelled, but no, it is not going to be cancelled. It is going to finish, and Huck is going to try to morph in some units here. 3 zealots are being attempted to morph in, and all 3 do finish up. However, there are 3 stalkers and a zealot in the main for mouzHasuObs, so I do not think that is going to be able to do any damage. But the really important thing is that these zealots are going to be able to get scout off. They are going to be able to see the robo facility, so Huck is going to know exactly what's going on. In the meantime, we do have 5 stalkers moving up into the main base of mouzHasuObs. There are forward pylons placed around the bottom, around the natural expansion. 2 of these zealots are actually still alive. Very nice control by Huck in that right. Now it looks like some of these probes are going to be pulled off the line. In this case, I'm going to bring up the unit tab because that is very important. We do have 3 zealots on the field, 4 HasuObs, now down to 2, 6 stalkers in favor of EGHuk over the 4, a couple of sentries for Huk as well. However, these force fields not the best. Does allow these stalkers to move around freely at this point in time. But the stalker count still, now evening up in neither player's favor right now. 1 zealot on the field for Huk. This force field of his actually forcing him backwards. Not a very good force field in that, right? It does look like the unit count station, another sentry being morphed in. Huk's units are not going to be able to be reinforced, so this battle going in favor of HasuObs. And yeah, that didn't do much damage. In case you guys didn't notice, that was more of a minor annoyance than it was anything else. HasuObs is actually supply blocked rather nastily right now, and it looks like Huk might be looking to do another push. He has not laid down any extra tech at this point in time. Is going to lay down his next. There we go. So we are going to have a 3-gate pressure expand out of EGHuk. In the meantime, we are going to be seeing that 3-gate robo I was talking about. Not the unit composition I was talking about, but the 3-gate robo is still a very, very safe build in PvP. One stalker is going to poke down the ramp, see what's going on there, and since those zealots were in the front, these stalkers were not able to exchange blows. There is a forward pylon over here that may be important for HasuObs, and right as I say that, 3 zealots are warped in, and it looks like, I don't know where they rallied, it looks like maybe down to the watchtower, and now EGHuk's forces are falling back. These 3 zealots are going to be able to see the expansion. That's going to be very, very pivotal that they see that. It's going to let HasuObs know what is going on. It looks like there needs to be a force field on this ramp. The zealot's going to get in, and the force field does go down, but a little bit late. And now it's actually delaying the units from getting up and reinforcing Huk's main base. Now it looks like a couple of units in the probe line may go down. There was 1 zealot in the probe line, a couple more zealots over here fighting off this other zealot. Then we are going to have one-on-one battle of zealots over here in the probe line. And really, oh, that's just a cluster of health bars. I don't really think much damage sustained there. Maybe just a couple of probe losses. Let's check that tab real fast. Yes, there are 4 probe kills for each player. However, we do have immortal production continuing over for HasuObs, now switching over into Colossi production as that Robo Bay is completed. We'll probably not get that extended thermal lance because he's going to need all the gas he can get to create Colossus and maybe a Stalker or 2 if he shows desires. This one pylon down here is going to go down, which is almost going to supply block Huk. Huk is going to need to make sure to get some pylons down. Now starting some robotics production of his own. Huk's advantage though is that he can take these extra gas geysers. Really, at this point, Huk I think would be best off taking only his 3rd gas geyser and trying to ramp up a little bit of Colossus production himself. He is behind in that Colossus count. Now that 1 Colossus has finished, he will always be behind, especially considering there is only just now a RoboBake starting for Huk. However, I really think that's the best way to get back into this game. In the meantime, just keep on producing Immortals, so that he can counter the Stalkers and the Colossus of his opponent. HasuObs decided to lay down an expansion of his own. I do agree with that. However, I think that he should also think about making some sort of attack, maybe trying to come in from the side here instead of hitting the army straight on. And Huk does have a fairly decent army. However, these sentries, except for Guardian Shield, are going to be a little bit less useful maybe than usual, as this Colossus is counted as massive, and massive units crush force fields. Now extended thermal lance is beginning for our blue Protoss player HasuObs. And yeah, what do we have count station here? We do have, in general, oh gosh, I don't know. The army counts are fairly even because Huk does have a higher army count. However, I think HasuObs has the better unit composition, and the fact that he does have that 1 Colossus out right there. The first Colossus will complete fairly shortly. Oh, it looks like we are going to have a minor engagement here. 1 zealot, maybe 2 zealots are going to be picked off in that engagement. Nice force field by HasuObs, trying to be able to cut off a few reinforcing units of Huk. No true damage sustained there. It looks like the forces may have gotten split up a little bit. Huk's first Colossus now just about to hit the field. It looks like Huk is going to be ramping up into double Colossus production though, as we are going to have the second Robo Bay finishing before the second Robo Bay Robo facility, excuse me, of HasuObs, and choosing to make an Immortal instead of Colossus. Now it looks like we'll have 3 zealots morphed in from the 3rd base into HasuObs' natural expansion. However, those are not going to be able to do any damage. The army is back to defend against that. Nicely played by HasuObs and Huk. HasuObs to clean that up. HasuObs to clean that up. Huk to put a little bit of pressure on. That is what you want to do at this point in time. And now HasuObs chasing down that final remaining pylon. for Huck. Huck wants to make sure not to engage until this extended thermal lance is done. He's going to be in a lot of trouble if he does otherwise. We are having single Colossus production out of HasuObs right now. I don't know if he's waiting for the resource to go into double production or not. However, oh nope, they are both, one's making an immortal, an observer, and the other one's making Colossus. HasuObs does have the Colossus advantage right now, as well as the immortal advantage, and that really is going to tell what is going to happen in this falling battle, considering there is no charge to try to combat those immortals or that Colossus to close the distance quickly. Now, these Colossus are out in the front right now. That could actually prove to be a little bit troublesome. I don't, troublesome, problemsome, whatever. Could prove to be a little bit troublesome for HasuObs if Huck does indeed decide to engage. However, it looks like this group is going to be rebunged. This is a this is almost like watching a TVT, in which positioning is just so key right now. We do finally have double Colossus production coming out of EGHuk. He has taken his 3rd and 4th geyser, as well as HasuObs. It looks like they are going to trade this watchtower off Huck, falling back. I believe he saw that he is very far behind in that Colossus count. However, fairly shortly he is going to be behind in the upgrade count, but equal in the Colossus count. So that's going to be kind of a deciding factor as well. You cannot forego upgrades by any means. Both players do now have extended thermal lance, pushing that Colossus range up to 9 instead of being at 6, which is the Stalker range. We do have a Twilight Council now down on the field for HasuObs. I don't know if Huck has laid, his own down yet. It does not look like it. Huck is really going to need to start laying down some tech of his own. Otherwise, he's just going to start falling behind in every right. I mean, he's already beginning to fall behind in the forward piling going down for HasuObs, but it looks like Huck has spotted this with that probe. Huck is going to be shortly falling behind in the upgrade count in about 15 seconds. He's going to be falling behind in the tech advantage, and I would assume, actually, I don't know. I'm going to guess that there's going to be charge coming out of that Twilight Council, and maybe a little bit of Templar play as well. Charge lot, Archon, Colossus, a very powerful build. Indeed, we do have the Templar Archive coming down now for Colossus, for Archons. No 3rd base has been taken yet for either player. That wouldn't be smart, really, because as you can see up here in the resources tab, and in the resource counting station right there. Oh, and it looks like we're going to be having a little bit of engagement. This might be the big engagement that we've been waiting for. 2 Stalkers do go down, a couple of force fields, but no, it looks like neither player willing to push up and engage. A very high zealot count for EGHuk. He's going to need to get some upgrades for those, be it charge or be it just weapons or armor, because once again he is going to be falling behind very shortly. The Twilight Council is finished, the Templar Archive is now finished, and weapons level 2 as well as armor level 1 on the way for HasuObs. So Huck needs to do something now. He has a little bit of a window of opportunity while he's not behind too far. With he's not behind in any tech, really. He's not behind in any sort of upgrade count. He's just down 1 attack upgrade. Now is his time to attack, if it's going to be any time to attack. HasuObs even feeling safe enough to take a 3rd base. That is very risky. It is now 166 to 145 supply. And it looks like Huck is beginning to move across the field. That is a lot of Colossi. I believe that is 8 Colossi in that army compared to the, oh no, it's 7 and 7 for both players now. And it looks like the zealot count heavily favoring Huck, as well as the Stalker count. This could be a very important battle. I don't know if Huck is, yes, it looks like Huck is going to be engaged. He did pop that 1 Guardian Shield. Now, there is 1 Argon on the field, so not much tech being revealed in this battle here. This 3rd base was canceled for HasuObs. He does realize that he needs to ramp up his production as much as humanly possible. Now it looks like Huck is going to be engaging from the side here. Those Zealots, you really need to get into the front of the battle. They're going to be taking a lot of Colossus fire. Now the Colossus focusing fire down all the Zealots first. I think all of the Zealots are going to fall out at about the same time. There are 2 Immortals in HasuObs' army compared to the 1 in Huck's army. That might be a little bit telling. However, a lot of these units are engaging the buildings instead of the enemy units. A lot of Colossus on the field for both players. 8 now for HasuObs. So HasuObs does have the Colossus advantage. However, it is anybody's game at this point in time. There is a lot of cannon fodder on the field of Huck right now. A lot of the Zealots, all the Zealots have gone down now. A few Stalkers remain. It looks like Huck is just going to have to retreat in this combat. He has fallen behind 129 to 125 supply. Forming in a few extra Zealots, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, because the health on the Colossus, we have 2 Colossus very highly wounded for Huck, no Colossus wounded for HasuObs, and it looks like Huck is going to have to fall back across the field. Double Colossus production starting up for both players now. 2-1 upgrades for HasuObs, which is very, very important for him. Seeing this watchtower, HUK decides to fall back as HasuObs is pushing out across the field. These two Colossus are going to need to pop as soon as humanly possible if HUK wants to hold off his counter push, because really, I guess that's just the defender's advantage, is being able to reinforce your army as quickly as possible with these higher tech units and Protoss with Protoss, as we do have the pylons that reinforce the infantry units at any given point in time. However, the infantry army for HasuObs, very, very weak at this point in time. The gateway count, well, we have 3 over here for HUK, and 4, 5, maybe it's 5 it. We only have 5 gateways on the field. A lot more. We have 6. Well, one more. One more is a big difference, as well as, once again, that tech upgrade for HasuObs, which was really a telling factor in that last battle. The Colossus just able to do so much extra splash damage in that battle. It looks like HUK's main base has been mined out, as well as HasuObs. HasuObs now taking his 3rd base, which will become his 2nd mining base. And HUK looking like he wants to take his 3rd base as well. He really needs to at this point, because he cannot afford to fall behind in any other count. It looks like the Twilight Council was merely built to get some Archons out and to get the higher level upgrades. Once again, 2-1. Looks like HasuObs is going for 3-1 in that upgrade count. In the meantime, HUK is still sitting at 0s across the board, trying to get a Templar archive of his own up. That Twilight Council just finishing a little bit ago. This expansion has not started yet for HUK, though. He really needs to get that down, as pretty soon he's just going to be out macroed in this game. In the resource tab, we do see pretty much the exact same income for both players. However, shortly, HasuObs is once again going to have this extra base, which is going to be so important. Now, HasuObs could actually probably do a little bit of harassment, moving these Colossi up the cliff and trying to pick off a pylon or two, which would actually supply EGHuk. Not that he knows this, but it looks like he's going to be warping in some units on the high ground. Just a few zealots pushing the Colossus up so he can get the vision and telling them to target down that pylon right there. A couple more high Templars being morphed in, forming an Archon there. It looks like he is ready to commit in this combat. I don't know where HUK's entire army is. There it is, but it's not all engaging at the same time. That's going to be very, very devastating for HUK. He does have a very nice spread in these units. However, these Colossus doing a lot of damage. The Colossus did go in favor of HasuObs. 140 to 95 supply. The upgrades really just tearing HUK apart in this combat. 3-1 upgrades compared to HUK's currently 0 across the board still. HUK is really running out of things to do, options to go with. It looks like this one pylon did get taken down, so HUK, well, not supply blocked anymore, but he was going to be momentarily there. How many Colossus do we have on the field? We have 11 Colossus for HasuObs and only 5 Colossus for EGHuk. HUK, I really don't know what he can do in this game, because HasuObs does have the macro advantage with this extra base now, as you can see in the resources tab right there, the income tab, 1,300 to 750 minerals for HasuObs over HUK, 650 to 400 gas-wise. So HasuObs in a very, very nice position. I'm sure that he is very happy with how this game is going. And now it looks like he is switching almost into pure Colossus Archon. Because, you know, Colossus Archon, pretty standard build in, you know, the 25-minute mark of PvP. Now it looks like HUK has finally laid down his 3rd base. However, HasuObs has scouted down, and it looks like he's going to be pushing down with his entire army. I don't know if HUK is just going to have enough to be able to hold off, but he really needs to hold this base. And if he can't hold this base, it's going to be a light out for HUK. And there's a GG from HUK in this game. I am not surprised that it came down to that in the end. Once again, oh my goodness, just look at all those Colossus. That is so many Colossus. And really, it once again came down to the upgrade advantage and the tech advantage for HasuObs in this battle that took place at HasuObs' natural expansion. HUK just did not have what it took to be able to fend off his HasuObs' army when the counterattack came eventually. And the killing blow was HUK just not able to secure his 3rd expansion. Over in the income tab, we definitely see that going in HasuObs' favor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a best of 5 series from the NASL. If you have not already, please comment on this video. I do take everything you say into account. And subscribe. It really helps me know what you guys are thinking, how I'm doing. I would really appreciate that. Stick around for game number 2, which is coming up in just a second. And as a final note, look at this Archon. That is awesome. There's no blue powdery stuff on him. This is Coffee Break, signing out.